A torture device designed to kill people in the slowest, most painful way possible.
What if I told you that some of history's most feared punishments weren't just about ending lives? They were calculated to send messages that would echo through centuries. From ancient empires to medieval kingdoms, these methods shaped human history in ways that still impact us today.
Let them burn for all eternity in the flames of hell.
The Roman Empire's message. Imagine standing at the crossroads of an ancient Roman highway. Before you, a stark warning rises against the sky. Crucifixion, Rome's most dreaded punishment. Far from being just an execution method, it was a calculated display of imperial might. Criminals and rebels would hang for days, their suffering a public spectacle visible to thousands of passing travelers. But what made crucifixion truly terrifying wasn't just the physical agony. It was the psychological warfare. Victims were stripped naked, denied proper burial, and left to endure a deliberately slow death. The Romans understood something crucial. The most effective punishment wasn't just about ending a life. It was about sending a message that would echo through generations. This wasn't just death. It was political theater designed to maintain an empire's iron grip on power. Medieval innovation. As Europe entered the Dark Ages, punishment evolved into a chilling art form. Enter the Garrote, Spain's answer to the question of humane execution. But don't let the word humane fool you. This device, initially a simple cord used for strangulation, transformed into an intricate mechanical instrument of death. The Spanish Inquisition claimed it offered a quicker death than burning at the stake, but the reality was far grimmer. A metal collar would slowly tighten with the turn of a screw, prolonging the victim's final moments. Yet here's the fascinating twist. Your social status determined your method of execution. Nobles faced the dignified garrote behind prison walls, while commoners met their end in public squares. It was a cruel reminder that even in death, medieval society maintained its rigid hierarchy. The Tower's secret. Deep within the Tower of London's stone walls, a chamber known as the Rat Dungeon held one of history's most horrific secrets. As the River Thames rose with each tide, rats would swarm through the darkness, seeking refuge in the flooded cells. Prisoners, chained and helpless, faced a terror beyond imagination. But the tower's true power lay in its reputation. Kings and queens used it not just to punish traitors, but to break their spirit. Notable prisoners like Sir Walter Raleigh spent years in specialized cells, their suffering carefully calibrated to extract confessions. The tower became more than a prison. It evolved into a symbol of English monarchy's absolute power, where even the most powerful nobles could fall from grace. Eastern empires. The ancient Chinese and Persian empires developed punishment methods that reflected their sophisticated understanding of human psychology. While European methods focused on physical torment, Eastern empires mastered the art of prolonged suffering. The Chinese practice of Lingchi, death by 1,000 cuts, was performed not just as punishment, but as a restoration of cosmic harmony. Each cut held specific meaning, following precise philosophical principles. In Persia, executioners studied anatomy to ensure victims remained conscious through elaborate procedures. These weren't just punishments. They were rituals steeped in cultural significance. The condemned faced not only physical pain, but also the weight of religious and social judgment, their deaths serving as public lessons in morality and power. Age of Revolution. The French Revolution brought forth the guillotine, a machine that promised equality in death. Dr. Joseph Guillotine proposed it as a humane alternative to brutal executions, claiming its swift blade would deliver instant death without discrimination. The reality proved far different. From 1793 to 1794, during the Reign of Terror, the guillotine claimed over 16,000 lives. The streets of Paris echoed with the thud of its blade, falling on nobles and peasants alike. Public executions became social gatherings, with citizens bringing children to witness history. The machine's efficiency transformed execution from a spectacle into an industrial process. Death became clinical, mechanical, and frighteningly routine, a dark mirror of the revolution's ideals of progress. Maritime justice. The high seas bred their own brand of brutal justice. Keelhauling emerged as the Navy's ultimate deterrent against mutiny and desertion. A sailor, bound with ropes, would be dragged beneath the ship's keel, through razor-sharp barnacles that would tear flesh from bone. The salt water turned every cut into searing agony. Most victims who survived the initial ordeal died from infection days later. This punishment spread across global navies, from Dutch merchants to British warships. Ship captains wielded it as the ultimate tool of discipline, maintaining order through terror on lengthy voyages. The practice became so notorious that its mere mention could quell rebellion among the most hardened crews. Political power. Public executions served as more than just punishment. They were calculated demonstrations of state power. Rulers across history understood that the spectacle of suffering could control populations more effectively than armies. The Tower Bridge displayed severed heads for months, their decomposing features warning potential rebels. Town squares hosted elaborate executions during market days, ensuring maximum attendance. The condemned's final moments became street theater, complete with speeches, special platforms, and crowds numbering in thousands. Royal authorities used these events to reinforce social order, timing executions to coincide with political tensions. Every scream, every drop of blood served to remind subjects of their place in the hierarchy. Evolution of justice. The gradual shift away from public torture marked humanity's changing relationship with punishment. The 18th century brought the first serious debates about cruel punishment, as philosophers questioned the state's right to inflict suffering. Prison reform movements emerged, challenging centuries of accepted brutality. This evolution wasn't smooth. It took reformers decades to convince authorities that deterrence didn't require spectacle. The last public execution in England drew 30,000 spectators, marking the end of an era. Modern justice systems emerged from this bloody history, shaped by hard lessons about human rights and dignity. The mental scars of these punishments influenced international laws, prison reforms, and human rights declarations that govern justice today. Historical lessons. These dark chapters of human history reveal profound truths about power, society, and the fundamental nature of human civilization. Each method of punishment was more than a mere act of retribution. It was a complex narrative that reflected an era's deepest values, fears, and social dynamics. The Romans' public crucifixions were masterful demonstrations of psychological warfare, transforming execution into a strategic tool of imperial control. Medieval torture chambers exposed society's religious obsessions, where pain became a twisted form of spiritual redemption. The Spanish Inquisition's methodical approach revealed how bureaucratic systems could sanitize and normalize extreme cruelty, reducing human suffering to administrative procedures. Each civilization's approach to punishment was a mirror reflecting its most intimate anxieties and social structures. These weren't random acts of brutality, but carefully orchestrated systems designed to shape entire societies. From the public spectacles of ancient Rome to the calculated torments of medieval Europe, punishment transcended physical pain. It became a powerful language of social control, influencing everything from legal frameworks to artistic expression, from religious doctrine to political ideology. The methods of punishment were, in essence, a profound commentary on human nature, revealing how societies define morality, justice, and the boundaries of acceptable behavior. Modern perspective. The shadow of these historical punishments continues to loom over our present-day justice systems, a persistent reminder of humanity's complex relationship with punishment and redemption. Modern prisons, while exponentially more humane than their historical predecessors, still grapple with fundamental philosophical questions. The eternal debate between deterrence and rehabilitation remains unresolved, echoing centuries of conflicting approaches to justice. Every courtroom worldwide continues to walk a delicate line between seeking accountability and avoiding the brutality of past systems. Each execution method banned, each reform passed, carries the profound weight of centuries of brutal history. Today's international human rights laws are not abstract concepts, but living testaments to human suffering and our collective determination to evolve. They exist precisely because we remember and learn from these dark chapters of our past. These laws serve as perpetual warnings about the razor-thin boundary between justice and cruelty, between legitimate punishment and vengeful destruction. Understanding this history becomes crucial for more than just legal scholars or historians. It is a vital lesson for every individual concerned with human rights, social justice, and the continuous evolution of civilization. We are not separated from these brutal histories. We are their direct descendants, constantly negotiating the complex moral terrain between retribution and compassion, between protecting society and preserving human dignity. Our journey through history's darkest punishments reveals humanity's incredible capacity for change. We've witnessed how justice evolved from brutal spectacles to a system of human rights. Next time, we'll uncover another shocking chapter that challenges everything you know about survival. If you enjoyed this exploration, smash that like button, subscribe, and join us for more untold stories that shaped our world.